Anthony Joshua passes the torch by way of knockout to a young and hungry heavyweight boxer in Daniel Dubois. I have the breakdown for you guys. Let's go frame by frame, round by round, and analyze where Anthony Joshua went wrong. Dubois starts off very heavily on the jab, very aggressive moving forward. Now, this is something that Anthony Joshua has in past dealt a lot with, and it's something that he doesn't deal well with. If guys can put him on the back foot, I don't want to say that Anthony Joshua is timid or that he is somehow scared of getting hit. And you see Dubois coming in there with big shots, big hooks. I think he just lacks that ability to get into second gear. When guys are coming at you and you're on the back foot and you're constantly having to backpedal, throw the jab, which to AJ's credit, doing very well here, it's hard to be able to match your opponent's energy. And that's something that, unfortunately, for all of his skill, for all of his technique, and for all of his athleticism, Anthony Joshua has always struggled with. Dubois is also throwing a lot of volume here. Anthony Joshua is landing a lot of good jabs and uppercuts early, but is not throwing as much. So you see a lot, he's going to be on the back foot, he's going to be throwing the jab, he's going to be throwing the uppercut, but so many times Dubois is going to be throwing those round punches and is going to be beating him to the punch. And he looks for that overhand. The entirety of this fight, he's looked for that big shot. First round, pretty standard, right? Both guys kind of feeling each other out until, boom. Dubois lands an overhand that ignites the arena and clearly has Anthony Joshua hurt bad. Joshua was able to answer the count though and just escapes by the skin of his teeth. You could see in between rounds Joshua recollecting himself. He hasn't yet cleared the cobwebs. By this point, the arena atmosphere is palpable and we begin round two. Now, Anthony Joshua, to his credit, trying to reconvene, land shots of his own, but Dubois is yet again aggressive, coming out with big looping shots, same as round number one. They must have seen something while watching tape to affirm that this was the correct procedure for this fight. As you see Dubois continuing to just swarm Anthony Joshua. Joshua unable to really recuperate in a big way. He's already hurt from last round. Trying to clear the cobwebs and again keep an angry Dubois off of him. This time, Dubois is landing the jab to back AJ up, which I think he's doing extremely, extremely well. Joshua pawing out a jab of his own, but Dubois just circles around it, looking for that big shot again. He knows he can land one. He knows he can get inside foot positioning. And quite frankly, he already knows that he's at an early advantage psychologically, physically. He does not need to rush into things. He can take his time, especially against a formidable opponent like Anthony Joshua. And you see there's that big jab again that he lands. Huge. Nice jab by AJ downstairs. But technicality is lost now, especially when you have a guy in Dubois that is being technical, but is not afraid to make things a little bit more messy. You see AJ's technicality is kind of failing him here because Dubois is using technicality to get inside, using the jab to again establish an inside foot, to establish his own combinations when he does get into the pocket. And at no point is AJ fighting bad in this fight. It's just the intensity difference. Dubois was in a different gear since the beginning of this fight, and he lands another nice shot over the top of the guard by AJ. And they kind of get tangled up there. But by this point, it's clear that AJ's in for a ride and a half. And there goes round number two. Important to note, AJ looks like he's cleared the cobwebs, but is just a little bit exhausted now. And that's going to happen not only when you've been dropped, but when you've had to backpedal for 2 rounds, when you have a guy in Daniel Dubois landing big shots on you, when it seems like nothing you throw is really phasing your opponent. These are all things that make it incredibly tiring. Here we go. And so now at the beginning of round number 3, Anthony Joshua is in deep water and Dubois is trying to take him deeper. Big jab from Dubois. And it's important to mention that while Dubois clips him early, as he has done the last rounds, AJ is able to kind of just readjust, keep his wits about him, and fight smart. You see he's moving. Same with Dubois, but Anthony Joshua is fighting well off the back foot. We're starting to see him utilize his jab. We're starting to see him find counters really well this round, and it looks like the pace that we've seen before is kind of slowing. I mean, for a guy in Dubois to be putting in all that work over these first couple rounds, I mean, he's going to slow down a little bit. The pace is going to slow to a crawl at certain points. See there again, AJ landing the jab, using nice head movement to keep out of the range of Dubois. But Dubois is looking fast, and you get a sense of where that clearance of distance comes from. It's the athleticism of Dubois. Comes in with a big hook. I think this is AJ's best round of the fight, and I've watched the fight in full before this. This is by far his best round fought. And AJ lands a nice uppercut. We start to think that maybe AJ can find his way back into this fight. The two get tangled up. Referee lets the fight breathe a bit, separates it. And just when we thought Anthony Joshua was having the best round, Dubois levels him with another big hook, swarms, and just by the skin of Anthony Joshua's teeth finds the end of the round. But now Anthony Joshua is in deeper and deeper water. Of course, he's laughing and trying to be confident and trying to gloat, but we know that Dubois is suffocating AJ with his pressure and dropping down big shots. And that's the intensity that we didn't see from Joshua at any point in this fight. We begin round number 4. AJ's looking worse for wear, and he gets dropped yet again, this time early into the 4th, and the feeling starts to seep through to the audience and to those watching at home that Anthony Joshua might be on borrowed time here. He's able to answer the 10 count, but Dubois is swarming, and a slip. Wasn't quite sure when I watched this live what had happened, but referee lets this one continue. Dubois comes forward again with the jab. More looping shots, keeping them short though. And at this point, Joshua has no recourse but to fight to survive. You see a lot of these shots are cracking the guard, hurting him, and the crowd is loud, is making themselves heard. Anthony Joshua is exhausted. Dubois might be a little bit exhausted at this point. Anthony Joshua smiling, but we know historically that's what he does when he's badly hurt. And he's hurt here again. Dubois has Anthony Joshua compromised. Can he finish the fight is the big question. And a reminder, we're only 4 rounds into this. There's a nice counter shot by Joshua, who again has had his moments, but Dubois is inevitable. A lot of physicality, a lot of clinching, and you see Anthony Joshua taunts Dubois over to his stool. Again, maybe not the thing to do when you're down 3 rounds, but what are you gonna do? Probably even 4.
Well, if you're looking to survive though for Joshua, that
Second time, round 5.
if you're looking for some hope for AJ.
And this is important to mention, AJ's base at the beginning of round number 5 does not look to be totally under him. You're going to see it in the way that he moves backwards, throws shots. His base is fundamentally compromised. Dubois a little bit more neutral, not moving forward as much as he had in past rounds. There's a nice jump in attack there from Dubois. And still clipping AJ. AJ's talking to people in the crowd. Looking a little bit sharper even though his base isn't quite under him. And then he catches Dubois with a big shot. The crowd is absolutely going insane. Anthony Joshua is down for the count. This is it. The referee waves it off, and Daniel Dubois dethrones the king, defends his belt, and more importantly, lays stake to Wembley Stadium. The key to that ending sequence was that Anthony Joshua, to his credit, clipped Dubois, but got overly aggressive. You see Dubois was able to land the same shot twice. That shouldn't happen. I understand it's heavyweight boxing, but these guys are 2 of the most athletic and technical heavyweights we have on the roster, amongst others. And I think part of that was desperation on AJ's part. He understood the situation he was in, that he was most likely down, and he got a little bit greedy, paid the price for it. TKO win for Daniel Dubois in round number 5. Thus concludes our breakdown of this fight. Let me know what you guys thought down in the comment section below. Is AJ done for, or was Dubois just the better man on the night? He certainly looked fast. He certainly looked aggressive. Would this work on every heavyweight? No, absolutely not. But do let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. I have been your boy, the combat consultant, the soundboard god, Jacob Kuberman, and I'll see you in the next video. Deuces.